Hey everybody, welcome to Tyco Dogg's channel. I thought I would switch up a little bit and show you guys behind the scenes what it takes to synchronize all of the tube recordings, because I think that's the cleanest way that you can possibly create a true A to B comparison, keeping everything else equal, and to be able to, as objectively as possible, hear if there are any differences between tubes. So this is just a little Adobe Premiere project for my tube recordings here, and you can see here's a little shot of some of the speakers I use. Let's start from the acquisition part. So acquisition is via two Rode NTG mics. These are supercardioid mics, very high RF rejection, and these are great mics to use for isolation. They're very directional, and as you can see here, I aim them directly at the mid-range speaker. So if anybody knows about the JBL 4343s, they're huge. They're 200 pounds each, and they just don't make them like they used to. I mean, these are just, to me, the pinnacle of what a studio monitor should be in terms of the dynamics, the clean output that you get from these. When you think about a mid-range, that's basically a 10-inch speaker. So, you know, most people don't have subwoofers as big as 10-inch, but that's the mid-range. And then you have your compression drivers for the high frequencies and ultra high frequencies, and then you have your 15-inch subwoofer. So going back to the recording, we go from the Rode NTG mic, phantom powered, balanced, going into a recorder that records at 24-bit 48 kilohertz. So if you guys think about CD quality, audio CDs, 44.1 kilohertz sampling rate and 16-bit. So 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. Here's a typical timeline. Up here are the video channels, down here are the audio channels. And as I start to step through each of these layers, you can see here CBS Hytron 5692. Going up, here's the Sylvanias. Going up, here's the Philips ECG, the Amperex, and the Electro Harmonics. And then going down to this one here, this is JFET mode, so solid state. We compared it to solid state. So how does all this work? The first thing you want to do is you want to take all of your recordings and sync them up. And let me show you what that looks like if I just go down here to the end of my timeline. I had some examples here. Here's an example of all of the recordings synced up, and you can see the waveforms are all pretty much synchronized. If I zoom into this point right here, it's very easy to sync them up visually by looking at the waveform. And you can see there are very small variances there, and that's only because, you know, the video is being recorded at 24 frames per second. So when you slip one of these forward or backwards to try to sync it up, you're moving them by 1/24th of a second. Sometimes you get them pretty close, sometimes you don't. But if you get them close enough, like right here, you're not going to be able to hear the difference. And so this is what it would sound like, all 6 of them playing at the same time. You can see I'm totally clipping here because naturally I'm basically duplicating 6 times the audio track, super saturated. That's not what you want to do, but that's how I start. And then once I go from there, I start cutting this up and I mute every channel except the final channel. Going back to, let's go back to my actual timeline here, which would be this bottom one here, is what I keep open. And so this is the only active audio track that plays out to the final master. And as you can see here, they're all cutting from the various track recordings here. So this this particular section happens to come from this first track, and let's see what that looks like. So that would be the electroharmonics. So this part here is the electroharmonics, and there you go. This is the final output. You can see it's the electroharmonics tube. And then watch my indicator here as I start to go through, and here's a cut right here. Watch this. It cuts to the Sylvania. There's another cut right here. Let's see what it cuts to when you get to this point. Okay, and then watch up there. Boom, it goes to the Amperex. As the tube video cuts, so does the audio. And let's go all the way in here. The only thing I did right at the cut is just add a very small audio transition. This is a power transition, and that's just to keep the popping from happening, because on one of the review videos I noticed as I made a cut you could hear a little pop, and that's just from, you know, it's bouncing from one track to another track, from one file to another file. Sometimes you get that pop, but by adding a very tiny audio transition there, I eliminate that pop, and it's a smooth transition from tube to tube. So I hope that explains everything. Keep in mind that, yeah, everything that goes on YouTube is compressed, but if you could do everything you can to make sure that the master you're sending to YouTube is as clean as possible, that's the way to do it. If you guys have any questions at all about my process and workflow, I'd be more than happy to answer. Just go ahead and comment in the comments below, and hope you continue to watch the channel, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks a lot.